scribbling pad, a long notebook with you, so that you can note down for respective organisms. So friends, in the previous class, after covering the thing, last week's information on the structural organization of prokaryotic and eukaryotic. In yesterday I covered on viruses. Viruses. Among the viruses, it is the bacteriophages which is you know important, and in that context, of course, we try to know two kinds of bacterial viruses. You call them simply phages or bacteriophages. So, and in them you have two kinds, the lytic and lysogenic. The lytic, once they infect a bacterium, they don't allow it to multiply further. And so, like inside that cell, before it attempts to multiply, it takes control over the synthetic machinery, both DNA replication and protein synthetic machinery, and produces its own components, the protein and nucleic acids, DNA, and after assembly, they lyse the bacterial cell and come out, which results, suppose, if you have the host bacterium, for example, the common bacterium in all our molecular biology things, which we mention, commonly used bacterium is Escherichia coli, E. coli. So Escherichia coli, there are two kinds of bacteria, bacteriophages. One is the lytic, it includes T series. So T1, T2, T4, and like that, there are different T series. And the other one is the lysogenic, which doesn't cause the lysis, it is the lambdaphage, which is the lambdaphage as example for this category, lambdaphage. Okay. And of course, the lytic phage, its infection results in the lysis of the bacteria. Suppose if we have E. coli, a lawn of Escherichia coli bacterium, that's lawn, how it is caused. If the cells are so the colonies are not overgrown, means they're so like superimposed. So when it happens, when the number is very high, the bacterial numbers are very high, it doesn't give you individual colonies, but it results in the development of a lawn. That is the over thing, everything is clubbed. So like you have the grass lawn, here bacterial lawn. In between that, if the bacterium is infected by a lytic bacteriophage, it results in the, because of the lysis of the bacterium, it causes tiny water droplet clear zones. So that is you call plaque, Plaque, plaque. So plaque is formed only in case of which type of bacteriophage? Only in light bacteriophage. Whereas in lysogenic, because the one which you have to remember is prophage stage. That is the stage, here what happens once the nucleic acid is injected into the bacterium, it gets integrated with the host bacterial DNA, and it remains part of that stage you called prophage stage. So which here what happens, instead of causing the lysis, so it the viral DNA gets viral DNA keeps multiplying with the host bacterial DNA. Then at a time, when the situation becomes unfavorable, means when all the nutrient gets exhausted, or when the pH, there is change in pH, highly alkaline or highly acidic pH, or accumulation of some toxic chemicals, or increase in temperature very high, if it becomes very high, or suppose if there is desiccation and so on, unfavorable conditions, suddenly they decide to follow the lytic path. Means the viral DNA till now it is also integrated, it remains integrated with the host bacterial DNA. It gets separated. At the time of separation, a small piece of the host bacterial DNA may be carried by the thing, so the viral DNA, and after packing it results in the formation of the infectious viral particles, which again they come out from the bacterium, and they may reinfect the next bacterium, new bacterium host. At that time, they may introduce their the viral DNA carrying that small stretch of the previous host DNA into the new host, and so as a result, what happens in that, if that particular stretch is carries the complete coding region, coding for a particular trait, it may be virulence, it may be protein, it may be so many things, so then it may be introduced, the that particular character will be acquired by the host bacterium, new host. So new host, this particular thing, that is the phenomenon, bacteriophage mediated genetic transfer, is called as transduction. Okay, transduction. So there are three kinds of genetic transformations that you find in bacteria. One is transformation in future in micro, bacterial genetics, microbial genetics we will discuss. First is transformation, next is transduction, next one is conjugation. There are three ways of genetic recombination that are found in bacteria. Otherwise, bacteria lack sexuality. They don't reproduce sexually, bacteria. They lack sexuality. They reproduce only by fission, simple fission. So that is less simpler than the cell division that you say in case of higher eukaryotic organisms. The cell division, it undergoes, different phases. So what is that? You have anaphase, prophase, anaphase, metaphase, teleophase, and so on. So that happens, but here it is less simpler than that. So that is the cell fission. So, but however, in these bacteria, though they don't reproduce sexually, these three kinds of genetic transformations, recombinations are found. One is transformation, which was reported, reported by Griffith, and followed by transduction. The other group, we may, then the conjugation, the next thing. So, transformation, transduction, and conjugation are the three forms of genetic recombinations that are seen, which we will discuss later when we take up genetics. So friends, in today, so we will discuss the cellular organisms after talking getting some information on the viruses. We will move to different groups of microorganisms. Microorganisms, you mean cellular microorganisms, which includes bacteria, then fungi, algae, and protozoa, four main groups. Among them, bacteria stand for which type of cellular organization? It is the prokaryotic cellular organization. Prokaryotic cellular bacteria. The rest of the organisms, fungi, algae, and protozoa, they are eukaryotic. They have eukaryotic cellular organizations. And bacteria, what are bacteria? First, if we consider bacteria, and of course to know some important information about the cellular organisms, first information, that bacteria are prokaryotes, whereas rest of the organisms like fungi, algae, and protozoa have eukaryotic cellular organizations. That is the first point. Second point, bacteria are more numerous compared to other organisms. More numerous means more in number. So, their population is very high compared to other organisms, which is given in this page in a representative. So page simply for just for clarification, they have given in this E notes. So bacteria are more numerous compared to fungi, algae, and protozoa. That is the second point. Then the next point for you to know is, metabolic diversity. Bacteria are metabolically diverse, metabolically, even nutritionally, metabolically and nutritionally diverse. They have all kinds of metabolic functions. Like, so you find, so the respiratory, as well as the even in respiratory, aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, then fermentative, all types of there. You have thermophiles, mesophiles, and psychrophiles are there. You have autotrophs and heterotrophs. Even in autotrophs, chemoautotrophs, photoautotrophs, all kinds of things are there. So bacteria are more diverse. So you must remember, nutritionally and metabolically. As a result, what happens? So bacteria are capable of colonizing any kind of environments. Anywhere you go, anything, on the globe, on the earth surface, you find bacteria, which are more in numbers. So that all of you must remember. Of course, there are large number of bacteria. So hundreds of genera are there. Then lakhs of, like lakhs, not even millions of species of bacteria are there, which represent different nutritional groups. So chemosynthesis, photosynthesis, then heterotrophy, that is organotrophic organisms, all are covered in this particular group. So bacteria, and another thing, like bacteria, anything you mention that is there in bacteria. For example, so in bacteria, if you, it is covered in about 33 so sections in 31 sections in Burgess Manual of Systematic Bacteriology, edition 2, second edition of Burgess Manual of Systematic Bacteriology. So it is covered. So they are covered, like, some common things, like you have the some common groups which you come across, all that it is given here. For example, endospore forming bacteria. Endospore forming bacteria in the last three classes before we discussed, like some bacteria are known to produce endospores, like you have Bacillus, Clostridium, Sporosarcina, Sporolactobacillus, Disulfitomaculum, all these things, Oscillospira and so on. So they are the examples for that, generic. Of course, in them there are several species. Hundreds of species of these 6 genera of bacteria are known to produce endospores. So it is, they are endospore forming
Abolition of the
bacteria.
intermediaries. That
Similarly, you
means
have photosynthetic
those
bacteria.
people who were
In photosynthetic
assigned the
bacteria, in the
job.
practical class, I was actually,
Right?
I had mentioned about them. So the, like the sections 18 and 19, they mention about this photosynthetic bacteria. Photosynthetic bacteria, so there are two types in the photosynthetic bacteria: an oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria, and second is oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria. Anoxygenic photosynthetic bacteria, they are those bacteria which use hydrogen sulfide as source of reductant, H2S. So then at the end of that, photosynthetic activity, they accumulate sulfur, elemental sulfur, either inside or outside the cell. The examples are sulfur bacteria, photosynthetic sulfur bacteria, chlorobium, CHLO ROBIOM, chlorobium, and chromacium, CHROMATIOM. So like that, you have several things, in this particular group, anoxygenic photosynthetic bacteria. Since they use hydrogen sulfide, they are adjusted to, they are strictly, like anaerobic organisms. They are thing, they so though they are photosynthetic organisms, they need light, but they are found in the deeper layers of the water bodies. So they, that is the diffuse light that reaches them, that is enough to activate them. So these green sulfur, purple sulfur bacteria, purple non-sulfur bacteria, so rhodospirillum and so on, others are there. oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria. So they have, the next group is oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria. Oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria. This group is represented by what are known as cyanobacteria. 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 Earlier, of course, in 60s and 70s, in the previous century, of course, when we were students, we learned them as a group of the algae, photosynthetic algae, a group of the photosynthetic algae. Like we used to call them blue-green algae, blue-green algae. Blue-green, why it is called as, in addition to green pigment, that is the chlorophyll, they have a blue colored pigments called phycocyanin. Phycocyanin we used to call. But now, in early 80s, people, based on their thing, they have all resemblance to, because they have prokaryotic cellular organization, their cell wall structure resembles gram-negative bacteria. Because of this, they were included under bacteria in Burgess manual. So it is found in section 19, an oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria. You have studied in your pre-university biology some of these organisms with the different cellular organizations, like Anabina is there. You have studied beaded the structures with in the middle you find structures called heterocysts, which are the HETEROCYSTS, heterocysts, which are the site of nitrogen fixation, and Anabina, it is Anabina, S-touch. Then nostoc, see, you think, which is the filaments are similar to Anabina only, but only thing is, in case of nostoc, they are found in mucilaginous matrix. So like that, you have other organisms, Anabina, nostoc, cylindrospermum, calothrix, cytonema, tolipothrix, like that. Kindly, so have at least, because to be on the safer side, at least 5 to 10 examples for each category. Okay.
Okay.
So they are the
Bye.
cyanobacteria, and
Bye.
these cyanobacteria, what is the special feature is their photosynthetic activity is similar to higher plants. What sort of things? Higher plants, oxygen evolving photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, so the water molecule H2O is used as a source of reductants. And electrons, that is the thing, reducing power. So at the end, oxygen is evolved. So oxygen evolving photosynthesis, which is seen in higher plants, it is also seen in cyanobacteria. So the cyanobacteria, which are oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria, they are called as. So, and they have the photosystem, both cyclic and non-cyclic photosystems. They have the cyclic and non-cyclic. That is, cyclic is photosystem 1, non-cyclic, it is photosystem 2. What happens and all that, kindly go through, and of course you have already studied in so kindly make a note of that and study. And in these cyanobacteria, there's a specialized structure called heterocyst, which is the site of nitrogen fixation. You all must remember, suppose if that statement comes for a true or for objective, you should be able to answer that. So the cyanobacteria, so majority of the cyanobacteria are nitrogen fixing, diazotrophic. Those which are capable of fixing nitrogen. So what is nitrogen fixation, biological nitrogen fixation, BNF? It's an ability found in prokaryotes, only in bacteria, not in eukaryotes. And bacteria, which is the thing, the function which is seen in bacteria, where the gaseous nitrogen is
Sir, today it's
ammonical
birthday,
nitrogen.
so I request.
It is reduced, N triple bond N, that is N2 gas. N2 can be written as N triple bond N. It is reduced to diazote, it is called as. It is reduced to 2 molecules of ammonia with the help of the enzyme. What is the enzyme involved in nitrogen fixation? Nitrogenase, you remember. So nitrogenase is the enzyme which is responsible for the reduction of gaseous nitrogen to ammonical nitrogen in certain bacteria. So that process is called as nitrogen fixation. And these organisms, we call them as nitrogen fixing bacteria. Example, you have many, you have studied. So Azotobacter, Azotobacter, or Azotobacter crucoccum. It is an example. Azospirillum, Azotobacter Spirillum, Azospirillum, Rhizobium, of course, for root nodules. In leguminous plants, you
acres.
have as
What they
classic
did was
examples you have
they made
studied in
it
your
into
science
75
practicals in
acres
PUC.
and
Rhizobium. Of course, in rhizobium, rhizobia now you can use. So you have many genera: Rhizobium proper,
family.
Bradyrhizobium, Azorhizobium,
And ceiling on land
Cynorhizobium,
hoarding is
Mesorhizobium, and so on.
But the thing
So
is
they are the
to
one,
bring the
root nodule
mem-
bacteria. Then, so like that, you have Gluconostobacter
what they did was
diazotrophicus. Another organism is there. Then,
it was
these are all
in
some of
Kannada we
the things,
say
the nitrogen fixing bacteria. That is the example. So other than the cyanobacteria, you have
yes, it was
nitrogen fixing
successful.
bacteria, another classic group. So one is photosynthetic bacteria. In that you have an oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria, with
Okay,
classic examples.
let the
Few
Almighty
points regarding these organisms. You should have the information.
in Karnataka they brought in
Similarly,
some
endospore forming bacteria. Endospore
changes in the
forming
act
bacteria.
so that
So you should remember,
removing the
bacteria.
reducing the
So
restriction.
all these things, 6
But
genera
it
which
was
I
there
gave in
all
the
through from 1972
previous
till today. But
class
some
chapter.
restrictions are
So
being
with that, all this,
reduced
some general
these
information.
days.
Endospore forming
sir, one
bacteria.
request.
Yeah.
So they are actually represented by gram-positive
Sir,
bacteria. They are
today it's
gram-positive
Gaviside's
bacteria.
birthday, so I
All these endospore forming bacteria are
request you to bless him,
gram-positive
sir.
bacteria. That's the things. Next you have endospore forming bacteria, then photosynthetic bacteria. In that, anoxygenic photosynthetic bacteria and oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria. Next, the classic example group of
Let the
characteristic group is
Almighty bless.
chemosynthetic bacteria. Chemosynthetic bacteria. So these are all the bacteria which derive energy by the oxidation of reduced inorganic chemicals. So examples, classic examples are
Okay. Let the
nitrifying
Almighty
bacteria.
bless
Kindly note down
Gavisidesh.
or record, and
Gavis
later you make the notes. Nitrifying bacteria. So what these
Gavisidesh
bacteria do
ಅವರೇ
is
ನಿಮಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟು
they
ಹಬ್ಬದ
oxidize ammonium, which is
Sir, one
produced due to the hydrolysis of proteins and other organic nitrogenous
sir, today
compounds.
it's Gaviside's
So the
birthday,
ammonium
so
which
I
is
request you
resulted, you
to
call
bless him, sir.
ammonification. That
Okay.
ammonium
Let the
is
Almighty
now
bless
oxidized in nitrification
Gavisidesh.
to nitrate. So it happens in 2 steps. Initially, ammonium gets converted to NO2, nitrous, so nitrite. Then nitrite in the second step becomes nitrate. The organisms involved are nitrosomonas in the first step and related organisms, and nitrobacter in the second step and related organisms as examples. So it is an oxidative process. You must remember, suppose a statement reads that biological nitrogen fixation, what kind of process is that? It's a reductive process. Whereas nitrification, it is what kind of process? It's a oxidative process. So in this, by oxidizing ammonium to nitrate, these nitrifying bacteria derive energy. And these nitrifying bacteria, they are obligate aerobes. All of you must remember this statement. Then similarly, another example is sulfur oxidizing bacteria. It is represented by Thiobacillus, Thioxidans, then Sulfolobus, Beggiotova, and other examples. Are there.
Birthday,
So
I
the
request
sulfur
you to bless
oxidizing
him, sir.
bacteria, what they do is they
Okay.
oxidize
Let the
reduced sulfur
Almighty
compounds like
bless
hydrogen sulfide,
Gavisidesh.
which is
ಗವಿಸಿದ್ದೇಶ್ ಅವರೇ
a
ನಿಮಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟು
reduced
ಹಬ್ಬದ
sulfur
ಹಾರ್ದಿಕ
compound, H2S,
ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು.
solid smelling
Thank
compound,
you, sir.
or
Happy birthday
otherwise
to you.
elemental sulfur
Thank you, sir.
to
Thank you.
sulfate is for.
ದೇವರು ನಿಮಗೆ
It
ಸಕಲ
is again
ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ
sulfur
ಸಕಲ ಭಾಗ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ
oxidation,
ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಾಪಾಡಲಿ.
conversion of H2S or elemental sulfur to sulfate.
Thank you,
What
sir.
sort of process is
How the
that?
profit
It is an
is
oxidative
distributed in
process.
cooperative
And
collective
the
farming.
organisms
Bhaskar
involved,
Gowda has
so what do they
asked
do
the
by
question.
oxidizing either
Profit
H2S
is
or
distributed as
elemental
bonus.
sulfur S2 sulfate,
Suppose
they derive
the
energy.
cooperative
They derive
society
energy.
earns a
So they
profit
derive
of
energy.
10,000
So that's
rupees
the things, So
in a
and
year,
because
and
it is
there
an
are
oxidative
100
process,
farmers.
the sulfur oxidizing
How
bacteria,
much
they are
each
also
farmer will get
obligate aerobes.
as
Kindly, all of
bonus?
you must note
If
down
the
these
profit
points,
earned
and
by the society is
every day,
10,000
after
rupees and
class,
there
you
are
should have spent at
100
least
farmers,
an hour in the evening and make notes of your own. And with cross-checking from the Google, you kindly make a note of that. So that is chemosynthetic. Another group, by example, first nitrifying bacteria, second sulfur oxidizing. Similarly, you can also have iron oxidizing bacteria. Iron oxidizing ferrobacillus, represented by the genus Ferrobacillus. What they do is they oxidize elemental iron to iron oxide. Iron oxide, they cause oxidation. So the again this process is also oxidative process, and they derive energy by this process. So the Ferrobacillus is an example. Like that, you have several such examples in this chemosynthetic bacteria. So far you have learnt about endospore forming bacteria. Second, photosynthetic bacteria. In that, anoxygenic photosynthetic bacteria. Then you have oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria, that is represented by cyanobacteria. And now you have learnt about some information, little information on the chemosynthetic bacteria you have learned. And the next thing is, the information is actinomycetes or actinobacteria. So actinobacteria are a group of uh, you know a group of the thing, uh, bacteria, gram positive bacteria, bacteria, which they are also called as, many times they are also referred to as, earlier days they used to called ray fungi, ray ray fungi. So they do, for example, in the previous class, enumeration, you have seen those things. They form tiny leathery colonies, so which form like in streptomyces. So the small filament, things, filaments they form. And though they form the filaments, they are so they get broken down to individual rod shaped bacterial structures. And these actinobacteria or actinomycetes are a characteristic group of gram positive bacteria, which are you know capable of degrading many complex organic materials like chitin and other things. And they are also known to be part of humus formation. They are important organisms involved in the degradation of organic matter. And they are also known to be, actinomycetes are also known to be responsible for the formation of humus, humus, which is the residual organic matter produced at the end of the organic matter. It's also called as humus. Sometimes it is also referred to as native soil organic matter. In soil, so most of the fresh organic matters what you add, they undergo degradation by various bacteria. At the end, a small fraction of the organic matter which remains undecomposed. Further, it can't be degraded. So it remains, you use the word residual organic matter, which of course further it can't be degraded, it remains. And so that, in a fully developed soil, the organic matter, if you consider soil organic carbon, it's mainly due to humus that is present in the soil. So humus is also called as native soil organic matter. This humus, many times it is also called as natural recalcitrant, because it is not easily degraded by recalcitrant. What is recalcitrant? Recalcitrants. Recalcitrant molecules are those molecules which are not non-biodegradable. non-biodegradable. Of course, you have plastics, you have pesticides, you have ceramics, and such kind of things are there as examples. This humus, of course, easily it is not degraded. Of course, there are also organisms which are capable of degrading humus. You call them autochthonous bacteria. Autochthonous, AUTO, autochthonous, CHTHO, autochthonous bacteria. They are those bacteria which are humus metabolizing bacteria. Humus metabolizing bacteria. Example, you have Orthobacter, Arthrobacer, Orthobacter. Then you have Nocardia is there, Nocardia. Then you have Corynebacterium, 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 and so on. Many examples. If you give autochthonous bacteria, examples for autochthonous bacteria, you get such examples, which are actually the thing like involved. So they live by metabolizing humus. Otherwise, humus is not easily metabolized by other bacteria. Other microorganisms which are only involved in the degradation of fresh organic matter, they are actually zymogenous. ZYMO, zymogenous, GENOUS, zymogenous bacteria or zymogenous microorganisms. So they are, so those which are involved in the degradation of fresh organic matters. So there is ups and downs in their population. When there is organic matter, they increase in their numbers. When it gets exhausted organic matter, they will reach very low population. Whereas the autochthonous microorganisms, they remain constant. Their activity and their population remains constant at any given point of time. So that's about it. So the actinomycetes are a characteristic group of bacteria which are found in soil. So examples, you have streptomyces, streptomyces. Then you have micromonospora, micromonospora, micromonospora. Then you have actinomyces, actinomyces, actinomyces. Then you have nocardia, nocardia. Then orthobacter, arthrobacer. Then all these things, kindly, you give even Frankia, the nitrogen fixing bacterium, Frankia, which is known to cause nodulation in non-leguminous plants like casuarina, alnus, and such kind of plants. So Frankia, it is named after A.B. Frank, the scientist A.B. Frank, who invented the mycorrhizae, the fungus root symbiosis. He coined the word mycorrhizae, the mycorrhizal symbiosis. It is named after him, the Frankia. So the Frankia, Frankia, NCKIA, Frankia alni, alni, which is a nitrogen fixing bacterium which forms root nodules in non-leguminous plants. Like you have the classic examples, casuarina is one, which is, and most of the other plants are like Alnus, Cenotes, Dryas, and others. They are all wild plants seen in marshy and wastelands and forest things. Otherwise, casuarina, you can take it as examples for this particular group. So they are the one. And another thing, special property of this, especially streptomyces and other things, so you are aware that, when the farmers plow the lands, during summers, after a brief shower, like it gets that musty odor, a characteristic soil odor you will get. It is called as musty odor. So that is due to that is due to an volatile compound geosmin, 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 produced by these actinomycetes. So, which is an aromatic compound produced by actinomycetes. So, you must remember, and actinomycetes or actinobacteria. So, they are responsible for the formation of humus. They are responsible. They take part actively in organic matter degradation. More than all these things, so actinomycetes, majority of the actinomycetes are known to produce so antimicrobial compounds, that is antibiotics. So by producing these antibiotics, so they are known to control, they regulate they are also involved in the regulation of the soil microbial population. Of course, they may cause the thing in inhibition of the other organisms. Then you have, of course, these are all some examples for each category. Cyanobacteria, then actinobacteria you have, then you have then the endospore forming bacteria, you have chemosynthetic bacteria. Then you have another group, so the fruiting bacteria. Fruiting bacteria, the bacteria which form the fruiting structures in the culture, fruiting bacteria. Kindly go back and refer and get the examples. The next thing is stalked bacteria, STALKED, stalked bacteria. So, for example, you have Caulobacter, 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 and many are there. They are actually, so they are usually majority of them are represented by iron oxidizing bacteria. Their stalks are made up of ferric hydroxide, a brown colored compound, ferric hydroxide. So kindly look into these two groups. Kindly go back and refer, search in Google and make a note of that. Fruiting bacteria, and another group is like stalked bacteria. So all these things, so these are all some of the things. And about bacteria, for you to know the information, bacteria, they are a group of what? Prokaryotic unicellular organisms, for definition, which reproduce asexually by simple fission, okay, which reproduce by fission, and which are metabolically diverse. You should remember, they are which are metabolically and nutritionally diverse, and are more numerous among the microorganisms. Okay, and the examples we have discussed, some common groups of these bacteria: the nitrogen fixing bacteria. So those bacteria which are capable of converting gaseous nitrogen, N triple bond N, to ammonium with the help of the enzyme nitrogenase. Examples: Azotobacter, Gluconeostobacter, Azoospermum, Beringia, then Rhizobium, Frankia. All these are the examples, nitrogen fixing bacteria. Then you have endospore forming bacteria. Then you have photosynthetic bacteria. In photosynthetic bacteria, you have an oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria with chlorobium and chromium as examples. You have oxygenic photosynthetic bacteria represented by cyanobacteria. So the examples like Anabina, Nasdaq, Asos, Calothrix, and so on. Various oscillatoria and so on. Then you have chemosynthetic bacteria represented by nitrifying bacteria, sulfur oxidizing bacteria, iron oxidizing bacteria, and so on. Then you have then fruiting bacteria. Then you have stalked bacteria. Kindly these two kindly refer Google, search in Google and make a note of that with the examples. Kindly in the next class I will ask you. And next you have the actinobacteria or actinomycetes, so which are a group of characteristic group of bacteria, so found in soil, and they are responsible for the formation of humus, and they are known to produce majority of these, many of these actinomycetes are known to produce so antibiotics, antibiotics which are useful in agriculture, industry, as well as in the medicine. And these organisms are known to produce an volatile compound called geosmin, which is uh, which is responsible for that musty odor of the freshly plown soils in hot summers, in early morning, especially early morning, not in hot suns. Early morning when the lands are plown, you'll get that smell, very pleasant smell, earthy, earthly smell. That is due to geosmin, a compound. So all these points, you must remember geosmin. Then you have, of course, the ammonifying bacteria, nitrifying bacteria. Like that, you have many things, and of course, bacteria. So, or like maybe they are majority of the many. So they have responsible for many beneficial effects like nitrogen fixation, phosphate solubilization, and varieties of things. And of course, many of them are also pathogenics. Responsible for the causing plant diseases like wilts, rottings, and so on. Wilts, rattings, and so on. So like that. This is the brief information on bacteria. Brief information on bacteria. So the next group after covering bacteria, this is bacteria representing prokaryotic structures among the cellular organisms. Next, we have three groups of bacteria, cellular microorganisms represented by eukaryotes like fungi, algae, and the protozoa. First group among them, it is fungi. So by definition, suppose if you are asked to define, write a short note on fungi, how you can start about fungi or fungus, fungus, fungus singular, fungi, fungi, it is plural. Fungi are those achlorophyllous, you should remember, without chlorophyll, they don't have chlorophyll. Achlorophyllous, eukaryotic microorganisms which exhibit both, the, like the unicellular or multicellular plant body, that is thallus, which reproduce both asexually and sexually. They reproduce, they exhibit, unlike bacteria reproduce only asexually by simple fission. They lack sexuality, whereas fungi, they reproduce both sexually and asexually. So uh, you know that's about them, sexually and asexually. So fungi by definition, how we can define? They are a group. They are a group of achlorophyllous eukaryotic organisms, so which include both unicellular and multicellular plant body or thallus, which reproduce both sexually and asexually, and which are responsible for, which are actively involved in organic matter degradation, and many of them are also do cause the, varieties of plant diseases like rust, smuts, powdery mildews, then rottings, wilts, and so on. All these things. So the fungi, of course, includes two groups of them. Usually, when we use the word fungi, whenever we mention about fungi, we include their yeasts and molds. Yeasts and molds. Fungi includes two characteristic groups, yeasts and molds. What are yeasts? They are unicellular fungi. They are unicellular fungi which multiply by budding. You must remember, which multiply by budding. And these yeasts belong to which particular group of fungi? Ascomycetes. They are a group of Ascomycetes fungi which reproduce by budding, or occasionally they may also reproduce by fission, and so on. And these yeasts, of course, are further classified into further into false yeast and true yeast. False yeast are those which uh, do not, which don't exhibit sexual reproduction. They reproduce only by budding or fission. So they are, for example, like Torula, Torulopsis, all these things are examples. Then there are true yeast, the yeast which are responsible, which reproduce both sexually as well as, sexually, in addition to asexual reproduction. They are true yeast. Like you have Saccharomyces, Schizosaccharomyces, Zygosaccharomyces. You have Devaromyces. Then Pichia, 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 and so on. So they are the true yeast. So these yeast, when we mention about yeast, so they are Ascomycetes fungi, which like they reproduce through the production of ascospores inside a sac-like structure called ascus. Ascus, ascospores, ascospores, which are, range between anywhere from 4 to 8 in numbers. They are produced in a sac-like structure, endogenously produced, called ascus. Endogenously produced in a sac-like structure called ascus. So ascus, and of course, some of them, many of them, they are, of course, they have wide variety. They are fermentative in nature. These yeast, they are both aerobic respiration as well as fermentation, and many of them has industrial application. They are responsible for alcohol production, organic acid production, and so on. And many of them, like, of course, varieties of uses. They are the source of B complex vitamins. So, and Baker's yeast are there. Fermentation, they are used in the production of wines, beers, and distilled beverages, and so on. And of course, in agriculture, like, of course, yeasts are responsible. There are many yeasts which are PGPRs, plant growth promoting activity. They are known to produce, like plant growth promoting substances and support the plant growth. Many of them have biocontrol activity, are known to inhibit pathogenic microorganisms. Some of them are also responsible for plant diseases. One of the important plant disease, that is, it is powdery mildew. Powdery mildew caused by these, Ascomycetes fungi, powdery mildews. So the thing. Okay, next you have, of course, so fungi. The next thing is molds, which are filamentous fungi. So fungi includes both yeast and molds. Yeast and molds. And in fungi, you have some common groups of fungi are, for example, the Oomycetes fungi, Zygomycetes fungi, Ascomycetes fungi, then Basidiomycetes fungi, and Deuteromycetes fungi. So Oomycetes, Zygomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes, all these things, you have learned in your PUC biology syllabus. We shall. So among them, the first, of course, the first two groups, Oomycetes and the Zygomycetes, they are also called as, like, they are lower fungi. They are also called as lower fungi. And both these organisms, in the practical or in some theory class, we were discussing, for example, in these filamentous fungi, the molds, the filaments may be septate or filaments may be aseptate. In case if it is aseptate, that is, if the, the cross septor is lacking in them, it is continuous. The hypha or hyphae. Hypha is tubular, without anything, so that means to say, it becomes multinucleate. Multinucleate. That condition is called as cenocytic. COE Cytic, CYTIC. Okay, cytic. That particular condition. So the fungi, these which representing this Oomycetes and Zygomycetes fungi, they are also called as, they are actually, both of them have this aseptate mycelia, and they are lower fungi usually found in marshy conditions. Majority of them are found in aquatic ecosystems or damp conditions. For example, many of you who come from areca growing areas, especially Western Ghats and coastal regions, in the heavy rainfall things, for areca we get a thing called choleroga, caused by Phytophthora infestans. So which is actually in the heavy rainfall conditions it happens. So here Oomycetes fungi, you have Pythium, Phytophthora, so they are the Plasmopara and other examples are there. So many of the are there, they are aquatic fungi, so not they have non-septate mycelium. Next, Zygomycetes fungi. Sometime a group of these Zygomycetes fungi are sometimes commonly referred to as sugar fungi. Sugar fungi, because they are fermentative, like carbohydrate utilizing organisms. You have examples, some common examples, in this Zygomycetes fungi. You have Mucor, MUCO, or Mucor, Rhizopus, RHIZO, PUS, and so on, Rhizopus, and so on. And of course, here in this particular group, you also have, the thing, the trapping, the fungi, which are predatory in the sense, they form hyphal traps and trap like nematodes or other things, and kill them and leave. So trap fungi, you go back and refer, search in Google. Then you have, of course, mycorrhizae, the mycorrhizae, in that VAM mycorrhizae, that is vesicular arbuscular mycorrhizae. So all of them, for example, Glomus, Gygaspora, Acalospora, ACEAU, Acalospora, Entrophospora, Sclerocystis, all these, these VAM fungi, they are Zygomycetes fungi. They come from this particular group. So, friends, with this group, shall we close here? So, Siddesh,
Yes, sir.
continue or
Yes, sir. Yes,
huh?
sir. Yes, sir.
What
We
shall
shall
we do?
close,
Shall
sir,
we,
please.
Yes,
shall
sir.
we close down?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So, when will you give in this week, next class?
Friday, sir.
Friday ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಿ?
ಸರ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ನಡಕಿದ್ರೆ ಖಾಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 1 hour ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ
ಅದೇ
ತಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ.
3:15 to 4:15. ಅವಾಗ
ಆಯ್ತು
ಒಂದು
ಸರ್.
3/4 ಗಂಟೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಹಾ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್, ಆಯ್ತು.
ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಮೊದಲೇ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರಿ, ಯಾವ್ದಾರು ಇದೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ.
ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್, ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್.
ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ಒಂದೀಗ ನಾವು ಆಸಿಡ್ ಇದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಸ್ಟೈನಿಂಗು, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್, ಅದರದ್ದು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಅದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್, ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್,
ಸೊ
ಆಯ್ತು
ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಿ,
ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್.
all of you. So the corona, it is this year it has become very peculiar, and it is spreading very fast. Kindly, you should take care, keep yourself warm. Avoid, mask is very, very important when you go, and washing your hands, and keep distance. Don't go to any crowded places. Another thing is, of course, evening time you can have some warm kashaya, something, herbal things, you can use. And there are many ways, in I think, so that's what, you should keep yourself safe, more protected. So wish you all, thank you. Shall we close down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.